Hello. Welcome, welcome. I'm on CPT. Hello, Virginia. Sorry about my lateness. I kind of overslept. I heard something vibrating and I was like, what is that noise? And I was like, oh my God, it was my alarm. It was on my second round. Yeah. Welcome, welcome. And I hope it's okay. I see I have very little signal, which is a thing over here. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Woo, my goodness. I'm getting bad at this showing up on time thing. Yeah. Yes, I get up very early in the morning and tutor. And so I'm doing a double dip today. I tutored this morning from 3 to 7, and then I'm going to do tonight from 9 to 1. So I was trying to catch me a nap in there, and I tossed and turned. And then I guess I finally went to sleep. And what's that noise? Oh, dummy, that would be your alarm going off. Get up. So, good morning, Dallas, my moderator. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have my reasons for, of course, I always got a reason for doing something, doing this particular live. And some of you were in my last live. And after I posted, I had some very, very indignant comments. Just a couple, just two butthurt people. And they'll be all right. Sorry, I gotta take some tums. So yes. So we're going to um, touch on this subject of, is the United States really that great? Um, Me being a person born and raised in the United States, now living abroad, following several people that have left the United States that are living abroad. Um, Color is no barrier for these things. I've seen white people and black people as well that have left the United States for various um, foreign countries. So I wanted to discuss, I always say, when you, before you get to the airport, to leave that Western mindset behind, um, because things are different everywhere else. Hey, Money Hotep, welcome, welcome. Things are different. And I talked to some of y'all um, personally that are interested, that have questions, and we're just going to address this elephant in the room. Is the US really that great? Um, we're going to start with, in general, living conditions and housing. Oh, it's sunny in Houston. It was sunny here today. It on the coast of Kenya, it generally runs about 90 degrees for the high temperature all year round. So I think we're very, very close to the equator here. So, yes, the trusty fan is in the next room, pointed this way, working its magic. But the sun is going down, and um, yeah, I can't say it's cooling off, but there is a nice breeze. But which is topic number one. let's talk about living conditions, and we'll go through the whole gamut. I would tell you that I have notes for this, but I do not. I cleaned up today and I have no idea where I put my notebook. So bear with me. So, living conditions can be anything as far as housing, things dealing with housing, the type of city or village that you live in. The list is long, but let's start with housing, houses in general, the building, the structure. You know, for those of you that just started following me, welcome. If you like this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and you will see that in 2020, I left the United States and I came to Africa. I follow people that have left the United States and moved to Colombia, Mexico, Belize, Portugal, all these different countries outside of the United States. I would say the UK, but I have never lived in the UK, so I cannot tell you anything about the UK. Only from what I heard is that the UK is mad expensive. So, being from the United States, you do have options. We have cities like Los Angeles, New York, Miami, that are super duper expensive, and people, um, I tutor English. They all want to go to the United States, and they all usually end up in Los Angeles or New York, two of the most expensive cities in the United States outside of and the continental US. Let me say that, because Alaska and Hawaii got everybody beat hands down, but people don't generally go to those places to live. When they come to the United States, they're in Los Angeles, they're in New York, and they're getting beat up, because not physically but financially, because these are some of the highest places to live. And you have places all in the middle. You've got the Midwest that's not nowhere near as bad as those two cities, and you have Texas, the great the great country of Texas, to live in, and the cost of living is reasonable. There's employment, there's refineries, there's hospitals, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do in Texas and make a decent living and live and not break the bank. Whereas these other places, you need to make like $1 trillion, live with 1 million people in one house just to survive, because everything is so expensive. So when you come to these foreign countries, and one of my students to this morning was from Thailand, and he was telling me all about Thailand and how cheap it is to live in Thailand. And I'm here in Africa, and other people, it's just, yes, granted, they don't make nowhere near as much money as we make in the United States, but also they're not so rattled with debt either as we are in the United States. So the housing situation here is generally no mortgage. So I'm speaking from experience from Tanzania. I never purchased a house. You can't purchase property in Tanzania. You can lease it for 99 years. And now I'm in Kenya. So I'm learning Kenya. But in Tanzania, you pay as you go, as well as Ghana. I've been to Ghana before as well. So it's pay as you go. And that means if you don't have the money to build a house, the house won't get built. So if you've ever been to the Bahamas and you've driven around like some of the neighborhoods, and see these half-built houses in the Bahamas, you'll know that, ask like, why is there so many half-finished houses? You think like, did the hurricane come through? No, this is the point at which they run out of money, and they're waiting to stockpile some more money to finish building the house as much as possible, and then they'll finance it. So here, where I just left, they build the whole thing from out of their pockets. And no, there's no particle board. There's not very many wood structures, because I have never experienced termites like I experienced here. So when I first came, I was in Zanzibar. And in Zanzibar, they have some wooden like uh, tables and chairs, and you can sit there and literally, I don't know what kind of termites these are. I literally hear these termites crunching on the wood. And then once they're done, there's a pile of wood dust on the floor. And I was like, ew, what is that? Like, it was something different. So most of the structures here are built from cement and cement blocks that they have made by hand, not those little cutesy wootsy little fancy wood bricks that we have in the US on our house. These are big blocks of cement. And so these houses, they don't cost anywhere near what the houses in the US cost. But if you get a house that is getting up into the big bucks like in the US, you've got a mansion. You've got a monstrosity of a house that you find somebody that could build all this stuff for you, and I've watched them build things in Zanzibar and as well as redo something in Dar es Salaam. And it basically took them like a week or two. They don't play around. They get the stuff done. They come in before the sun come up and they finish working well after the sun goes down. But these structures are sound, and probably rightfully so, because here in Kenya, it's hot. But inside, it's not so bad because everything is cement, And so the luxuries that we're used to in our houses, when I was in Zanzibar, my kitchen was outside. In Ghana, some of the kitchens were outside. Luckily, once I got to the mainland, everything was inside, but then at what cost? Because I am afraid to use gas, and they use the gas in the canisters, the tanks of gas, which I don't know what I don't know what's in it. I don't know if it's propane or something else. It just says gas and they say natural gas. They never say propane, but the canister looks like a propane canister. And this is what a lot of them cook with, whether they have a eye straight on top of the canister or a line going to their stove. I'm terrified of that because I'm like, you got a flame coming out of a gas canister. That just doesn't seem like a very good idea to me. So I do electric. And so the downside of my fear of gas using electricity is that the power goes out regularly. Never heard of such unless it was a storm in the US. The power goes out. And then recently in Arusha and all over Tanzania, they're upgrading, fixing the main power plants. So they had started rationing the electricity on 10-day stretches. For 10 days, they were turning off the power for supposedly 10 hours, but it would usually end up being about 12 hours. So this was something that I was not accustomed to in the US, but you get used to it. You get used to power going out as soon as you turn on the stove to go to cook you something, and 10 to 30 minutes into cooking, the power goes out for hours. So if that means if you got some raw chicken in a pot, everything I've read says to throw it out. I've had people tell me, no, it's still good. Over here, it very well might be still good because it's not all pumped up with all sorts of stuff, but I'm not going to risk it. My stomach is very sensitive to certain things. And so it's just a risk I'm not willing to take, i.e. my Tums. So I don't know. I don't have a refrigerator yet. So I cut my watermelon open yesterday. I ate the rest of it today. And now I have an upset stomach. So yeah. Anyway, things like that. Sometimes it's the water. My last house, I did have a big tank on top. So if they turned the water off, it didn't affect me because I had a reserve in my tank. If it only affected the water outside that came straight off of the county city line or whatever. Here, I don't know how it works, but for just in case, I've got those 10-liter and 5-liter jugs full of tap water sitting on standby in case the water goes out, because that's the routine. You adjust and adapt. That's like one of the first things I did as I finished those bottles of water. I filled them up with tap water and put them in the bathroom. Because one, you would need water to bathe and water to flush the toilet if the water goes out. I don't know. I've only been here, a week? So I don't know how they work. Now, this is possible because this would have been doable back in Tanzania. But those of you that are on my Facebook, there will be no grilling here in Kenya where I am. My complex is loaded with baboons. That's another thing. Okay, so some of us have deer in our backyard, front yard, running through the yard, raccoons, armadillos. How many of y'all got some freaking baboons in your yard? And there's a lot of them. And so my understanding is that they like to snatch food. So there will be no grilling outside for I. And as soon as I start cooking, I close my door and seal it. And it was funny because today the little tiny one was looking through the kitchen window like, what you in there doing? And I just got something and banged it like, get your little ass out of here. And he took off up the tree. So yeah, we got baboons. We got colobus. Colobus are really cute, but they move really fast, and I don't think they coexist very well together. So where you see colobus, you usually don't see the baboon, and where you see baboon, you usually don't see the colobus. Colobus, I think that's how you say it. Don't know, but they're cute, but the baboons are big, and I'm just not trying to try my hand with fighting one of them for my steak or chicken. Not on my watch. So yes, this is just another instance. So basically, these are the little luxuries that we are accustomed to having in the US that are continuous. We have continuous electricity, continuous running water, unless you just don't pay your bill. The alternate side of that is that our utilities are not that expensive. So does that make a country great because you have continuous utilities and things like that? Because honestly, I'd rather deal with the power outages. I watched, what is her name? Sarah or something. She'd get a video why she is never returning to the United States. And I think she's from New England. She was an RN and she went traveling around, but she ended up staying in Colombia. Now she's got a house in the mountainside in Colombia. She's planting her mango trees and all her fruit and everything. And she's just living that off the grid lifestyle. And she did a video of why she is never returning to the United States. And quite honestly, I don't blame her. And there's a lot of people that have these type of videos out there. Like we'd rather deal with some of the things that you consider a luxury and a privilege than to be in the United States with their isms. So, I have, I've gotten a little sick and gone to the doctor. And just for reference, I am talking about Tanzania, not Kenya, because I've only been in Kenya for a week. So I don't really know how things operate here. I have gotten, things that I had to go to the pharmacy. Yes, to the pharmacy. As well as when I was in Ghana, I also got sick in Ghana and I had to go to the pharmacy and get some medicine. Now, the difference is here versus there, I can walk up to the pharmacy and say, this is what's wrong with me. and they recommend medicine that I can buy or purchase. So in Ghana, I had a reaction to milk and I was just sick. And they said, "Do you have malaria?" And I was like, "I don't know." They said, "Do you want us to test you?" In the pharmacy. Now I'm talking about in the pharmacy. And I was like, "Sure, you can test me for malaria. No problem." They did a finger poke. It came back negative. And they said, "Well, just in case, here's which one of these antibiotics do you want?" This one is 20 CDs. This one is 6 CDs or whatever. And I said, "Well, I recognize the name on this one. Let me get that one." And that was about four or $5 or something for some, I think it was equivalent to Flagyl. And come to find out after I got these prescriptions that it was the milk. I was like, I remember this happened before, and I had a bad reaction to milk. I cannot drink milk at all. And I did it again in Tanzania. I only, and each time it was something different. And so you go to the pharmacy and they tell you, and you end up paying like $2 for some medicine, not $200, not this astronomical price. I had some congestion and reaction to bug spray. I got some herbal cough syrup from the pharmacist. It was equivalent to like $2 or less. I can't remember, some antihistamines, the allergies, the whole nine. And this is not their industry. So I know for a fact in the United States, I had healthcare. I've worked as a healthcare provider, healthcare professional. And I know that the cost is crazy for healthcare. So most of the people in a lot of these countries can't afford what we pay for healthcare, and they don't have to because it's being offered to them at what we deem as a reasonable price. But it's still recommended that you get some type of traveler's insurance in the event for like major things. So if you have like blood pressure, diabetes problems, and you come to these countries, yes, of course, you got to go to the doctor to get your prescriptions refilled. But just normal stuff, like, I mean, I can say normal stuff, but things like allergic reactions, stomach ache, upset stomach, you don't have to go make a doctor's bill to get medicine. You can go to the pharmacy. The pharmacists are very knowledgeable, of which our pharmacists are supposed to be very knowledgeable as well. But getting them to answer your question and getting them to answer the question directly, because they're so afraid that there may be a lawsuit or whatever, it's near, "Oh, you need to go see your provider. You need to go see your doctor." Why? And you're the pharmacist. You know what this medicine do. You know what the adverse reactions are. You know what happens when I take it and why I need to take it or whatever. So that's another thing. Like, this particular country is not run by big pharma. So you can go and get stuff for dirt cheap. Same thing I hear with Mexico. You can go get dental work and medicine in Mexico for dirt cheap. And I'm talking like maybe $1 or $2. I've been researching different places. So you see these things, dental work, the eye doctor. I went and my glasses broke. So I went to the optometrist, and basically the eye exam, well, I asked him if this, because I hadn't wore the glasses in so long because they were broken. Your vision tends to change up. So I said, if I can't see out of these glasses, can I come back and get an eye exam or whatever? And he was like, sure. And I said, how much does it cost? And he was like, 50, did he say 50? I think 50,000 for the exam. It came to like $10 for the eye exam. And then the frames were, I don't remember, like $50 or $60. My friend said they was knockoff, but they was like some Gucci frames that I peeped on the wall. And then there was the lenses. It was very cheap. It was like $10 for this, $5 for this. He only charged me $2 to fix my glasses. And so, yeah, things are different. But just because it's different doesn't make it the place better. So if you think about it, in the US, I think Stephanie Perry was talking about the universal health care in several other countries. And we just got a tip of the iceberg with that, whatever that Obamacare stuff was, that they Affordable Health Care Act. You know, some people get offended when you call it Obamacare. It is what it is. It's not the greatest. It's still not the greatest, because I, at one point, when I had my own truck and was searching for health care, it still cost me an arm and a leg. So I was like, is this y'all idea of affordable health care? Because my income is this much. This is how much y'all think y'all gonna charge me per month for health care? I'd rather just take the penalty, because it wasn't worth it for me. You know, and there's still the discrimination, the pre-existing condition, all sorts of stuff that you have to deal with just to get some health insurance to afford some health care in the United States. Whereas, you know, Canada has been doing it. I've had patients from Germany or somewhere in the UK talk about their universal health care plans. Some places, you know, I think it's Australia, somewhere, it's free. Just go to the doctor. You know, we want you to be healthy, not so much in certain places. So that's another factor. When I went to these places, there was no line. There was, you know, they're like, oh, you know, they show you this stuff about Africa. And I still ain't seen Feed the Children. And all these people like just, sitting around waiting to see some missionary to come and give them some free health care. And their health care is all but basically free. And they do have health care insurance, which I can't really remember. Might be 1 million Tanzanian shillings, which is very cheap per year, which will allow you to go to hospitals and doctors without the cost or whatever. To me, the cost is like still cheap compared to, right? I have been to the emergency room in the US, and one trip to the emergency room was like $16,000, which I did. I was basically charged to sit in the waiting area and breathe in air, because they had everything on this list of why this visit costs so much. And as it stands, my insurance was something like a very high copay. My last insurance was like $500 copay for the ER, unless you get admitted to the hospital. And if you get admitted to the hospital, then my copay was only like $50. So, you know, it's like, that's not a deal. And then I was paying like $100 a week for this insurance. And that was just for medical. That wasn't vision and dental. So, you know, I ain't really with it. But anyway, fortunately, I don't have like a health issue that I would require me to see the doctor regularly. So that's another thing here. So also, like cars, they have these little Toyota. I guess they're from China or wherever. The steering wheel is on the passenger side. They drive on the left side. And I noticed that you all are complaining about fuel, the price of gas going up. So since I've been here, I think that their gas they buy it by the liter. And I think there's like 4 liters to a gallon. Not real sure in my mind, you know, I think. So that would equate to about 25,000 T shillings, which equates to about $5 a gallon. You know, they've been paying in these places. If you've been to the Bahamas, you know that they've been paying $5 a gallon since back in the 90s in these places. And over here, I don't really get it, because most of these countries are sitting on crude oil and natural resources, you know. And so you'll drive around and you'll look at the thing. Don't even bother looking at the gauge, because it's so close to E. They're usually driving around on fumes, and they'll pull in and say, give me 10,000 shillings worth, which might get them 2 liters, which is a half a gallon. You know, it's like, Oh, okay. But is that a little no. So, these little things that we're used to. Okay, so for the most part, not one place that I have lived in has had AC. A couple of, I think when I first moved to Dar es Salaam and stayed in the hotels, which was run by the Salvation Army, they had AC, and it kind of made me give me a little scratchy throat because it was so cold. And for some kind of reason, I think because of the heat or humidity or something, the AC just doesn't even feel good here. It's just, it's more bothersome than not. So there are, I guess if got it like that and you build a house, you can put some AC in it. But I have been far removed from AC. I survived with a fan. And just the other day, the young man told me, you're going to have to get used to living, being able to sleep and stuff without that fan on. And I was like, for freaking what? Are you trying to tell me something? Is the power going to be out for days and days and days? Because I just can't. I will sit up. It's that hot here, and it's hot enough, and the fan is giving me some type of relief. So for the most part, there's no AC. Some people have it, some don't. Very few have it. So it is, these are things, these are just the luxuries. But are they enough for you to say, oh, yeah, it's better in the US? The US is so wonderful and so great. So that's the housing situation. So now let's talk about the areas in general. So when I stayed at the hostel in Diani Beach, there was a big sign before you walked out of the door that said, not recommended that you walk down this street after dark by yourself. And for a couple of reasons, because I'm like, well, what is that all about? This is a high tourist area. So I guess there is some crime in the area, and it's pitch black dark. We don't have street lights. Kind of like Texas. We ain't got no street lights in Texas either, but you don't have street lights. So you're in the dark. So you've got to worry about people, one, and you got to worry about the baboons and the monkeys, two, because they kind of gangster. And so they recommend that you go in either a group or that you call an Uber or something to come pick you up right at the gate. And people are like, oh, no, boo. I'm from metropolitan Detroit. I'm from the suburbs of Detroit. And my understanding is that my little hick hometown, that's what the inner city people used to call it back in the day, to my, oh, you from the country. No, I'm just from the suburbs, like right down the road. We ain't got no farms, fool. Even they done got gangster. So is it safe for you to go outside after dark where you live by yourself? So don't point the finger. Also, you can Google Tanzania. And this is what I like to do. I like to Google like different countries to see what their population is and different stuff. And you know how on Google they have these questions. Is this country safe? What is the cost of living in this country? And then you can just click the little drop down. So actually, the US has Tanzania on level red alert, and not for COVID, but for violence and what does it say? Violence, rape, kidnapping, robbing, mugging, whatever it says. And it was fairly safe to walk. I used to go out at 9:30, pitch black dark in my neighborhood, wonder how these people walking around with I had to turn my light on my cell phone with no lights. They just walking around in the dark. I need to see them rocks on the ground because I'm not that coordinated, and then rocks be doing me in, and nobody is bothering you. I'm sure there's areas where no, you better not do that. And I'm sure there's logic as to why certain things happen to certain people because they go looking for things that they shouldn't be looking for. So where do you go in the United States to go find your tweeds and your prostitutes? You go to the unsavory neighborhoods. You go to the areas where it's not safe for you to be. It's the same thing over here. It's the same thing over here. It's no different. you know, where they say you better not tell nobody but God. But if that's your thing, going to look for certain stuff, and I just watched because in that hostel it was much younger people, and but they were, calling up, hey, can you bring me? Can you bring me? That's what you better do. Call for Uber delivery you some weed. Like in Detroit and stuff, they got their particular weed person that they like to use, and they say, "Hey, I'm gonna need this, I'm gonna need that." The weed man deliver now. I don't smoke weed, but if that's your thing, have at it. Don't go over to the east side. What's that area over there? They call it Beirut, Little Beirut. It's an area in on the east side of Detroit that is awful. They've got signs up that say "caution." Entering neighborhood. Like, okay, I thought I was in. No, that means lock your doors and let up your windows. Don't play with us, East Siders. But you have that everywhere, you know. Yeah, then you're like in Dallas, I believe. You got cameras all around your house. People got these doorbell cameras and stuff. I don't think too many people have that because you know why? We don't have fences here. We got cement walls, and at the top of those cement walls is like these spikes, and then a big metal gate. Which usually, if you have a big enough house, you also have a gate person to let people in and out. You got the little thing like at the night at the after hours joint where they open it up and look out and see who it is, before they open it and let you in, unlocking locks and everything all over, just everywhere. There's no chain link fence here. It's all brick walls. And I'm like, okay, that's doable because I don't need you over here lurking, looking. I don't have to worry about a privacy fence and all that stuff. Excuse me. This is how they roll over here. So does that make the United States great? And like I said, the basis of this comes off of I was not allowed re-entry back into Tanzania. They said all this stuff XYZ. Why I couldn't come back? Couldn't be there on this type of visa and da 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 da. And someone in my comment section of that particular video said they paid like I don't know if it was a typographical error. I'm hoping so that they paid $15,000 for everything to move from, I'm assuming, Africa to the United States for visas or whatever it is. I have no idea what, this is my personal opinion. I have no idea what's worth $15,000 to get into the United States. That would be one country that I would never see. $15,000 for what? Did you have a family of 15? Like what made you? He said after attorneys and visas and all this stuff, he paid $15,000. Not on my watch. So, do people really think that the United States is that great that they're willing to spend that kind of money to get into that country? And then down the road, they're going to be like, oh, I got mistreated because of the color of my skin. I got mistreated because of this or that and the other. I got robbed by my own people, da, 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 da. There's no difference. So you come to these foreign countries, it's funny. And I'm just talking from experience. I'm not talking about from what I heard. These people still on a daily basis regularly try to price gouge you to get a ride in a tuk-tuk. So I sat in a tuk-tuk. I rode all the way from one end of the street because he had a person in the tuk-tuk already. We had 5 people in a tuk-tuk, but he had one person in there already. And he said he was going in the opposite direction of where I was going. So I said, I will sit here, I'll ride with you, and then you can bring me back or whatever. Good morning, Fitzroy. And so the thing is, the locals pay. The one lady that was already on there, she went almost down to the end of the road. We picked up 2 stranded people because their tuk-tuk broke down. Hence why we had 5 people in the tuk-tuk, and each one of them went to like almost to the end of the road. They only paid like 50 shillings. And so when we get back down, he told me 100 shillings. Okay, I will accept that because I'm not a citizen of Kenya. I am not even a resident yet. I'm just passing through, but I'm not a tourist. So most of them will try to charge me $200 and $300 Kenya shillings just to go to the market. And so the logic is, oh, you are private, you're a private ride. So that's why I said, you know, I get easily offended when you try to insult my intelligence. So before I opened my mouth, you didn't know that I was American, and I didn't tell you to make it private. So if you feel like you need to pick up some people along the way, when you have me in your vehicle, have at it, because I'm not fixing to give you, $200 or $300 Ken shillings just to go to the market. The go to the market is $50 for locals wherever they go, wherever a local get a ride. It's like 50 shillings. I expect to pay 100. I'm okay with that. But don't try to tell me 200 or 300 just to go 3 kilometers. No, never, 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 never. And then so I had one start yelling at me and screaming, and I said, "Stop this vehicle!" Stop, because what you're not fixing to do is yell at me, because I'm that stupid and crazy to to take you task up, boo, because I'm not you. I don't know who you think you're talking to. I got some serious issues. I have some really serious issues. So he was just like, I said, just stop talking. You either let me out or stop talking. Because if you yell at me one more time, I'm sitting behind you. Don't forget that. I am sitting behind you. And he just kind of shut up. It's like, don't be stupid. So these are things, if you're in New York, you go to New York and you get a cab driver or whatever, you get hustled because they say, oh, they're not from New York. You get robbed because they say, oh, she's not from New York. They know you're not from New York because you're busy looking up all the skyscrapers. You get got. They snatch things from around your neck. It's no different. It's the same all over the place. And then would you rather that happen to you and you somewhere in Europe? Would that make you feel better if it was a European that was robbing you or taking advantage of you? You think that because these are my people, it's not going to happen. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. It happens. It happens there. It happens here. It happens everywhere. And so I'm still trying to figure out why people think the US is so great. Help me out here. Let me know. What is it? Because you can make a lot of money and you can afford stuff and get in debt? Because my circle, we all know now, we know better now. Luckily, we are only in our 50s. Because just imagine if you waited till you got to be 70 years old and figure like, oh, I got to get out of debt. Most of your life has passed you by. Most of it has passed you by at 50, but you still got some in you to carry on and to live. And this is what I tell these people when they say, oh, I'm fixing to go to the US, I'm going abroad to university. Don't fall for the okey doke. Get your education, come back home. Just like you're telling me, oh, come here and invest. That I know of, we don't tell people to come to the US to invest. Hell, the US don't even want half of y'all in their country in the first place. It's a country that was started and built by thievery and immigrants. And they pick and choose which ones they want to come in. And if they had their way, probably wouldn't let none of you in this day and age. But, people are quick to say what you can't do in the US and what you can't do. You can't compare the two. You cannot compare the two. I don't care how offended you are by that, but can you really compare any place other than probably the UK and South Africa to the United States? Because those three countries, let's say London, United Kingdom, whatever y'all want to call it, Great Britain, whatever y'all name is, South Africa, they boast that they are the most westernized country in Africa, and they are mad expensive. And there's racism. There's racism in the UK. There's racism in the United States. Black versus white. It is what it is. I'm calling it. Who's going to come kick my ass? Nobody. I'm trying not to cuss so much, but it is what it is. You're dealing with black and white racism in these three places. So these people in Africa, in China, in Japan, Taiwan, I talk to these people on a regular basis. They're all trying to learn, outside of Africans, they're trying to learn English so that they can come to the United States or the UK. And they don't realize that when you get there, you're going to get treated like dirt, whether you got brown skin or black skin. If you can't speak the language, you're going to get treated like dirt. So while you're comparing this country to that country, you know, make sure you put it in full perspective that this is why you're discriminating, and make sure your infrastructure is in place. That if someone was underage in their 30s, 30s, 40s, and need a job, that they can come to your country and get a job. Okay, make sure that that's a thing, because you can definitely, if you come into the United States properly, I don't know about paying $15,000, but if you come into the United States, you can get a job. There's jobs to be had. There's a whole lot of them now, because after this pandemic, nobody wants to work. Are there jobs in your country that I can come and apply to and make a living? You know, you may say, oh, yes, we have this, but you have all of your people that need to work first, right? Am I correct? Do you have enough to go around before you start comparing apples and oranges? I'm just saying. And I am not an advocate for the United States, hence why I'm not there. Okay, because just to be mistreated in the new millennium based on the color of your skin is ridiculous. Now, there's a lot of countries that don't have respect for women. Women, you know, you have, say, like, I peeped game that all of the nail technicians, jobs that in the US that are done by women are done by men. So if you go get a pedicure and a manicure, it's done by a man. I don't know who's in the hair salons, but a lot of places in Tanzania were run by men. Most of the chefs and cooks in the restaurants were run by men. And so in the Bolt and Uber drivers were men. So to the point when I got a woman, I was like, wow, I got a female. I was excited. You know, in the US, we have all of these rights. I know my rights, you know, and they said, spare the rod, spoil the child. Some folks can have too many rights, which gets you in a pickle. Now, something that's simple as something that could save your stupid ass life, you don't want to conform. You don't want to stay in that. I'm not talking about get an injection, wear a mask. I'm talking to stay your ass in the house. Stay in the house till this crap die down. You don't even want to do that. I was definitely a person that was anti-vax, and I didn't really care one way or the other about the mask. Who cares? I got cute ones. So you know how I roll. My mask gonna match my outfit. So that's just another piece of fashion for me. We didn't wear them in Tanzania. I did eventually go get the vax. I got the one that I wanted. I got a traditional vax. I'm not gonna get something that's messing with my RNA, not knowingly. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing something that you just put out there on the market and experimenting on millions of people. I'm trying to get the one that went through a clinical trial. I have that much sense to know the difference. So yeah, I did that. I had no side effects. I hope I'm still, let me see. People trying to call in. Sorry, this is not the hotline. Yeah, so you know, there's different things. Like, you can have so much leeway. What they say, give them enough rope and they'll hang themselves. All these things, that these rights that you have, do you really have rights? Or are you a slave to those rights? Are you a slave to, we all want this dream of being successful and getting the big house and the expensive car and the expensive clothes. That is the biggest crock of crap for me that I've ever had the pleasure of not experiencing. Oh, let's say not experiencing, because I've had one, didn't have the other. I had another, and it depends on where you live. In Texas, the bigger your pickup truck, the better. So I had that big Texas dream. I had my horses and a big old pickup truck, trying to get that big old long sleeping quarter horse trailer. It just depends on where you are. That wouldn't have been a good look in Detroit, but it was a damn show good look in Houston. Okay. So these are things that um, you know, that fascinate us instead of and one case in point, when I was looking for some place to stay in Houston and I was going through all these old big old chunks of property that was owned by generations, 2 or 3 generations. And at this point, at this generation, they feel like it was better for them to go somewhere else other than this country, living in this fresh air, and that the grass is 10 feet tall, the houses structures is falling down, instead of taking care. But you don't want to sell it. You don't want to sell it, but you don't want to take care of it. So what's so great about that? Is it that why is it that you're not taking care of it? Why is it that when we get something, we know where we live because it's raggedy? Why is that? So what makes it so great? My neighborhood that I grew up in, we used to know, everybody knew everybody. Most were 2-family homes. Most had very good jobs in this neighborhood. They prided themselves on their lawns and XYZ. Now, last time I was there a couple of years ago, like, I didn't know half the people in the neighborhood. Half. I didn't know 75% of the people in the neighborhood. And the color was definitely shifting because it was prime riverfront property from the get. And they didn't expect us to live there as long as we did. So now they're like some Asian people, some white people. It's turning. It's not that king side. Those are the black people over there. It's not that anymore. Now there's a river walk going behind people's private property that they put in. Just a whole bunch of stuff. Things change. Why is that so great? Your taxes, you're complaining your taxes high, now your gas high. These are things that people have been in other countries have been dealing with forever. The only difference is in a foreign country, they call them fees on your property. And if you get behind on your fees, nobody is waiting to come snatch your property from you because you got behind on your taxes. They give you the chance to pay it, and chance and chance and chance again. Again. Why is that place over there so great? Why is everybody trying to get there? Or why are they think, oh, you're coming from there, bring your money, invest in our country. Why am I investing in your country and you're going to treat me like shit? I just left a country where I was treated like shit. So why am I going to come to your country and invest a dime and get treated like shit? It doesn't work like that. The video was, are you leaving one toxic country for another toxic country? What are some of the red flags? I think, is it safe to say that if somebody is harping, come invest, come invest, come invest, that is a red flag if you're just a normal everyday Joe Smo? Like if you're somebody that just has your pension, your retirement fund, or maybe even you might be an entrepreneur, but you're on a small business frame, not on a corporate level. You don't have a huge business, but you're making a good living. Is it safe to say, because what they say in the first 2 years, you can look to not make a profit off of your business, coming to some place or starting a business in general. So you need all that overhead. You want me to come to your country that your infrastructure is barely in place. Yes, you got several banks, but if your bank is reporting to the United States, I have no respect for you. The flat out. So you've got all these banks. What else do you have? I see a lot of your stuff in the stores come from your neighboring country. And I go to that neighboring country and I'm looking at this industry that's out of sight. Some places I've never seen warehouses so big in my life. They got fabricators, they've got this, they've got that, they've got all sorts of things. They've got dairy, they've got agriculture, just everything in place. And they're not saying, oh yeah, come to our country and invest. Because now they're trying to coat as my daddy would say, not court. They're trying to coat the big heavy hitters, the big industrial heavy hitters. They're not down here trying to get little $500,000 uh, Fatima to come in and start a company in their country. They looking at these big conglomerates. They on that level. Yet you have the nerve to say, well, this is this and this is this. Get on that level to where you don't have to beg people to come and invest. You know, the Gambias of the world, the Gambia, the this country and the that country. I'm not just talking about one in particular. That's a red flag. That from this point forward, it's a red flag for me for a country to say, bring your money and come invest in our country. No, because I can't help you. That's not my thing. I'm just an average, everyday Joe Schmo that is just, I'm not poor, I'm not rich, I'm existing and I'm existing comfortably. Because I can honestly say if I make $50 a week tutoring, I'm okay. And that's what I was doing initially. Like that was my goal, to make $50. I was working like maybe one hour, 2 hours at most, 2 or 3 days a week. I'm like, I don't want to work. So you can't go nowhere and not work. That may be true. That may be true, but I've done my hard work in my life. And so now at this point, I just want to enjoy myself and relax and see what I can see. If that's not a thing for you, then don't worry about it. It's my thing, you know, do you. If you've been saving for the past 30 or 40 years on your job, that is excellent and wonderful. If you are under 30 and watching this video, make sure you got your 401ks and everything. That's money that they take it off the top. It's pre-tax for the most part. And a lot of times your company will match. Start it now. So then you don't have to worry. But one thing that's in the US that is changing rapidly, where our parents stayed at a job 30, 40 years at one job. People are not doing that now because people are not putting up with your bullshit. We ain't nobody like, what you talk, who you talking to? You know, first of all, and then your job is gone. It's no longer. So if you can stay on one job for 15 years, you're doing good. 10 years, you're doing good. But put some investment so when you do leave that job, you can roll it over to a Roth IRA. I'm not a financial person, so don't ask me. I'm just telling you about things that I've done in my life. Okay. So if a country is telling me to bring my money and invest in them, I don't want to be bothered. That's just me. If you are a business person and you're looking to put your money into something, then have at it by all means. Don't expect more out of me than what I'm willing to give. I am looking for peace of mind, peace and quiet. That is why I left the United States. I'm not coming to, you know, and I'm past the age, but I'm just saying, I'm not coming to join your military. I'm not coming to join your rat race. I personally am just coming to relax and have peace of mind. And initially, when I got there, I had that. I had that because I was like, wow, look at this and look at that. And people say, stop saying that, you're damaging your own self by saying this, that, and the other. I can tell you how much I paid for rent in Tanzania, because guess what? It's not going to affect the cost of living of the people there. It's not like they're going to say, oh yeah, the people are coming from the United States and they're saying how cheap it is to live here. Now we're going to pay y'all more money. That ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. But they want you to come in, and you come in and say, oh, we make minimum wage in the United States of $7 an hour, which a lot of these people in these countries would be more than happy to get that $7. So be mindful of what you complain about. But yet and still, they're walking around with a smile on their face and not, you know, even though I saw the video that said Africans are happy-go-lucky people on the outside, like they don't want you to see that they're unhappy or that they're in a bad situation or whatever the case may be. There's no reason, because if you can't change your hand for whatever reason, then you may as well enjoy it. You know, you're in the United States, you're dealing with BS every day, you're dealing with from the same people, then put a smile on your face and enjoy it, or do something about it, you know. And that's just the way I look at it. And it's easier said than done because I've got this. I walked away from everything. I know I don't have no kids and no husband, but I walked away. I quit that job. I'm done. I turned stuff back in. Here's y'all mess that y'all had me financing. Here, take y'all shit, because I'm out of here. Catch me outside. How about that? I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm getting rid of everything. Can't take it. If it don't fit in a suitcase, it can't go. So a whole 10 by 10 storage unit full of stuff just gone to waste, because at that time couldn't even donate it to the Salvation Army or Goodwill because of the pandemic. At the peak of the pandemic, I had a whole row of seats to myself on my first leg of my flight. It was that empty. But I'm like, I'm getting out of here. It was election day. I'm like, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm leaving. And so that was my mindset. That was my determination. Um, I'm talking and not paying attention to the comments. I don't know where my moderator is. Does she have do you have the means to put stuff up on the screen? Let me see. Da 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 da. You haven't met Little Haji. Who is Little Haji? Okay, a month ago, might go to corner store and get something to eat. Okay, yes. Find my niche. That's a good thing. That's trending. Working from home. Most people caught onto it from the pandemic. If you have options like that, like I said, you can work anywhere as long as you have an internet connection. So my things that I do, the company I believe is out of San Francisco, and I get paid in American dollars. And so maybe I don't want to be a citizen in your company, in your country. But in Kenya, I don't think I would have a problem with paying Kenya some type of tax or something, because I kind of like it here. It's kind of groovy until I find out that it's something else going on. Like in Uganda, I was just telling somebody, in Uganda, they don't like stray dogs. So they spray poison along the sides of the roads in different places so that the dogs can get into it and it kills them. Then they just pick up the dead bodies and take them to wherever they take them to. And that was such a deal breaker for Uganda, even though I would never move to Uganda because they don't have a beach. But I thought that was horrible. You've got this beautiful city, Kampala, is modern, it's this, it's that. And you're poisoning the dogs. You're poisoning the stray dogs. Hello, can you just go to the SPCA and get them fixed? You know, neuter, spay. You don't have to kill them, but they don't want to see them. So this is what they do to them. And because the guy was like, well, I'm not going to walk. I don't let the dog out. And the dog like took off down the street, like, set me free, set me free. And I was like, okay, that dog need to get out and get some exercise. And then it explained to me that we don't let the dog out because they spray this poison that kills the dogs to get rid of the stray dogs. So he was terrified to let his dog out and take the dog for a walk. Dogs need exercise. So, you know, different things, people do things differently in other places. And if you've never left the United States, or if you've never left the state that you live in, you don't know that there are other ways to do things. And sometimes it may not be to your liking. You may think, what were they thinking? Like, what's wrong with them? Because I think, honestly, that we are so brainwashed and delusional in the United States because we think we got it good. I used to think, okay, yeah, we got it great. We got AC, we got electricity, we got water, you know, we got this, we got that. You got the choice to be here, the choice to be there. We have choices, 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 choices. Well, what happens when you have all those choices is usually you pull a straw and try to make a decision, and it's usually a wrong decision. So yes, do I believe that some people should have some type of structure? Yes, I do. I believe that. I had a person tell me they didn't want to move to Tanzania because she couldn't bring her gun. And I was like, well, why do you need a gun and nobody else has a gun? And so, oh no, sis, I'm not going nowhere without my gun. And I was like, oh, okay, that's you, that's your thing. But what I like is going to sleep at night and not going to sleep at night by gunshots, gunfire, ambulance, police sirens all night long. I love that peace and quiet. I love that. I like the fact that people, when I was living on the coast, that they about 5 or 6 o'clock when it started cooling down, that they all start coming out and walking up and down the street. The music is playing And I'm not really worried about nobody coming by doing a drive-by. You know what I'm saying? Like, almost guarantee there's some foolishness when a lot of people gather together in certain places that you just got your right to bear arms. And I think Texas now you can walk around with it on your hip and be looking all cute. I mean, they do it in Arkansas, I think, just all that good old OK Corral, Wild Wild West business. Um, you know, things you just don't have to worry about. Now, when you get stabbed, you might get stabbed. Jug, you might get jugged, but you don't. Since I've been here, I think I've heard of 2 stories of a person being on trial for stabbing someone to death. Not saying that they all saints and, all innocent or whatever over here, because I've seen some street justice served up over in Tunduma that just blew me away. And so, they don't play around with certain stuff. But I think this is probably a place you don't want to go to jail. So, what I'm still looking to see somebody to tell me why they think the U.S. is great. You got 4 cameras around the house that sound like surveillance security. More concern for 4-legged predators. Yeah. Are you talking about Silverback? Are you talking about in the U.S. where the dogs and things have more privileges than people? Because over here, Mr. Baboon got to go. But we coexisting. We are coexisting, and I don't think I see anything up on my wall. That might be a little bitty tiny one up there, but the lizards are kind of frequent. I think there's a hole in the window where one of the poles in the ceiling is going through, and they just coming in. They just be having a day. So got the trusty dusty, a little noise, and they get to scampering or pointed in their direction. Let me see if it moved. I think that's a baby lizard. Now, what am I looking at? Oh, no, that's my hook on the wall. Okay, because I be paranoid. I hate lizards. Anyway, so yes. I was pimp as well. So much for the so-called dream. Oh, you were pimped as well. I don't know if Fitzroy is still in here. Yes, you went to the U.S. and found out that is psych mind, or you went from the U.S. to abroad and found out it was psych mind. It's a psych mind, wherever you go. It's your mindset. It is your mindset. So what I don't need is I've adjusted my mindset to come to your place, and then you try to run game. It don't go over too well. I kind of feel a certain type of way when people try to insult my intelligence. So, was my parents from the South? Yes, all of my parents are from the South. I got a whole lot of parents. So everybody was from Tennessee and Arkansas. And they moved north and I think my dad kind of moved north against his will, because my mom was like adamant that she was coming north because her family was already in Detroit, and she like took some of the kids and then she kind of played my daddy, but he was like, I'm going to get my woman, and then he ended up staying. So some crazy story like that, but he walked away from some lucrative things supposedly to come join my mother in the north, to start at the bottom at his company and then work his way up to started from the bottom. Now we're here, and 32 years he was dedicated to this company, but he got his promotions. Starving kid from the Feed the Children. Oh, he had a name. I didn't even know. Haji should be about 35 years old now. He's a little Haji from the Starving for Kids. Okay. With the flies. Now, not for shit. I found they flies. I ain't found the churn, but I found they flies, and they are just awful. It's terrible. And I even got my if you come here, I got the jumbo ones. I found them, and I'm so happy. Where's my camera? Mosquito sticks. Yay! This will keep me from having to spray, bug spray, and getting sick because there are no regulations apparently on their bug spray. And it must have been straight freaking poison because I was sick as a dog. And I'm very heavy handed. So I probably sprayed like half the can, which is what I would do if there was raid or whatever. So, yes, my parents were from the South. Yes, yes, yes. So no, I have not found, not even in some of the little, I haven't been in the far, far, far removed villages, but I have been through some villages. And like if you on a bus ride and you come through some of the smaller towns that they call villages, they have houses. Imagine that. They got houses. Ah. And a lot of them will stand by where the bus, they know the bus is going to stop and try to sell, you water and different things like that. These people here, they work when it's time to make some money, they work. Because I did ask the driver, and I think he kind of got a little nifty, but it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I noticed that when during the peak of the day, what I deemed should be workable hours, there was so many people that were just standing around, like in these little neighborhoods and stuff, like just sitting under the tree chilling. And I was like, well, they ain't got no job. They ain't got no job. And he said they knew what they need to do when it's time to make money. So money, you make money to survive here. You don't make money to have it in some people do, but they make the normal everyday Joe Schmo people. They get out and hustle and make money to do what they need to do. There's like no 9 to 5, which is probably why they have no regards for being on time for anything. And I do mean anything. Yes. Okay. So this is a good one. This is a good one because this is a thing. This is a thing. U.S. convenience, a variety of unhealthy food, stable electricity and water, politics, no, healthcare, no. Okay. So your goodies. A little pack of Oreo cookies cost about $13 or $14. And I'm not talking about your regular, I'm talking about half of that. It may be a pack like this. It was 28,000 Tanzanian shillings, which is about $13. Not on my watch. Things that we think should be sweet, like our cookies and all this, it's no sugar overload here. We are so souped up on sugar. It is ridiculous. Our fruits and vegetables, like the lemons and limes, I can't tell the difference because they both green. The oranges are green, but they're very sweet. So they don't go out of their way to make things look so appealing to your eye that you will buy them. You buy them because they taste good and they're fresh. And so it's quite the opposite. If you want some junk food here, crisp, they call them crisp because they call French fries chips. So potato chips or crisp, as they call them, those things are expensive. That's junk food. It's not a necessity. Candy bars and chocolate, like kind of pricey. It's not, to me, like I would buy it, but to the average person here, it's like, I'm not gonna waste my money on that. That costs too much. And no, we got other pressing issues like having food to cook and having gas to cook it on, or whatever the case may be. Not all this in a bag, heated up type deal. You won't find a lot of that, hardly, if ever. And when you do, it'll say something like American style or Canadian style. And when you see those words, you're fixing to be price gouged. And their logic is, oh, well, we had to pay to import it in. And it's coming from Saudi Arabia or right next door from the next country. But this is the brands, how they get you, and then don't taste nothing like what you expect it to taste like. Why? Because in most of these places, all those additives and preservatives and red dye, number 5, 12, and 22, or whatever number it is illegal. In Saudi Arabia, Heinz ketchup is illegal because there's not enough tomatoes in something that's supposed to be a tomato sauce. So they said there's not enough tomatoes. Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's is haram in the Middle East because of their way they process and make their food and what's in their food. It's not allowed. Now they got KFC here, but there is no McDonald's. There is no McDonald's. Did I say it again? 2, 3 countries: Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. No McDonald's. I have not seen McDonald's, but I see KFC. And you ain't gonna get no creamy mashed potatoes either. You're gonna get some rice. You're gonna get some rice pilaf or something. And I'm like, oh, I really want them mashed potatoes though. No, not so much. So again, is that what's stopping you? I have had packages delivered to me. I got some Slap Your Mama and some Laurie's seasoning salt. And sister can vouch. I don't see sister in here. She might be in the vestibule today trying to find her way in. But sister can tell you, I said, I thought about it. And I've been shaking this Slap Your Mama and Laurie's on my food and cooking my food. And guess what, y'all? Guess what's the first thing that I noticed when I got that Laurie's seasoning salt and Slap Your Mama? My ankles started swelling up again. My ankles hadn't been swollen since I left the United States, but I got that Laurie's and that Slap Your Mama, and my ankles went to swelling up. And I was like, oh, okay, I got you. I see what you're doing. So it is what it is. Most of the seasoning come in little plastic packets, or they scoop it up out the little vat and give it to you. It's the freshest seasoning that I could think of. It's not, you can buy prepackaged stuff. And I found that the things that are in plastic canisters that you shake on stuff go bad here. My stuff that I get out the vat, it does not go bad. So I had little bugs in, what was that? My chili powder, because I didn't use it very often because it's too hot. And the bag started brown. They put it in a little brown paper bag. So I get little holes in it. And I open up the thing. I'm saying, ew, it's got bugs in it. Yikes. So I threw it away. So yeah. Yeah, no kangaroo, no pink, what they call it, pink slime burgers is more of the thing. Like kangaroo, camel, whatever it may be, pink slime. It's probably no meat in a McDonald's burger whatsoever. Don't sue me because I ain't got nothing for you. But yes, I don't think there's any meat in it. Any. So, because the reason why I say that is because if you come here and get a burger, so we like Money Hotep, I don't know if she's still in there. We had a conversation about how we like the marbleization in our beef. So when I got here, it's like the beef, the cattle. I'm like, look how skinny and po they are. They need some groceries. But it's not. They're very lean. So when you get beef here, it is like meat. It's not fat. It's not a lot of fat. And so if you don't cook it right, it tends to be very tough. So what they do is they don't call it ground beef, they call it mincemeat, and they take it through a grinder, and it has a different texture, it has a different taste, and it has zero grease. Like you have to literally, if you want a big juicy burger, cook it in some cooking oil because it's going to be dry. It's no fat. There's no fat in it. So everything across the board just seems to be healthier. You know, from the little tiny chicken, not the big old chicken the size of a turkey. Okay, baboon. And you can come up in this window if you want to. I'm going to torch you. I'm going to get the lighter and an aerosol can and put your ass on fire. But yeah, they out climbing a tree. The tree is next to the window and they go up. They come across the roof and hit that tree, and the tree hits the window. Yeah. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So let me just answer my own question. Is the US really that great? Not to me, because not for nothing, my peace of mind is priceless. And there's nothing that you can put on that. I've been through the phase of buying expensive stuff and then ask the question like, where's all those Coach purses that I actually bought? I have no idea. They don't exist anymore. You know, even sisters like, well, I don't know where mine, thinking they have in a closet somewhere. You go through these changes, you buy all this stuff, and for what? What's the point? I'd rather have good health and peace of mind, good physical health and good mental health. It's a thing. It's a thing for sure. Instead of worried about different isms, am I going to get carjacked at the red light? Am I going to get held up because I need gas in the middle of the night? Am I going to get racially profiled from the police and then have to worry about that? The whole 9 yards. I know it's not everywhere, but it might as well be as far as I'm concerned. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it because I was a truck driver driving all over the United States. So I have experienced some things, and where people expect to get racially profiled and all of that stuff in the South, I actually experienced it in places like Michigan, my home state, Indiana, Illinois, places like that. These are places that I've actually had aggressions against me. But trust me when I tell you, I'm real ignorant. And like I said, you might take me down, but some of y'all gonna know that I was there, and one or two of y'all might go with me. I don't care. Money Hotep, if she's still in here, we were stationed out in the desert in California. I mentioned that. Like, remember when you went to Amboy? Okay, so Amboy out in California, not the friendliest of places. I think she said something like they told her, "You ain't from around these parts, ain't you?" Like they can't even speak correct English, which is the thing. Another red flag. If your country doesn't want to speak English, that's fine and dandy because I really don't care. But if you pride yourself on having tourism, then you need to be able to communicate with those tourists, and most of them have one thing in common, and that they can speak some sort of English. I'm just saying, not just because it's my language, but it is basically a universal language, because like I said, I tutor English online, and I do not have not one African student. So miss me with your foolishness. Everybody else is trying to learn how to speak English so that they can go to different countries of the world, not just to the UK and the US, and be able to communicate with people. Yes, the stomps, 29 stomps. Yeah, she all out there in the desert. They said they was what they say, the people practicing witchcraft or something out there. So you have an eclectic mix of crazy in the United States. So it's not just reserved for the inner cities. And you got some people off the trail that's like totally out of their hookup. Like my favorite people are the swamp people of Louisiana that can actually survive out in them Louisiana swamps. Me, not so much. Like, yeah, I'm good. I need some pavement. I need some pavement, player. Speaking of which, like, can y'all come clean up the debris for this construction so I can not break my neck on all these rocks and stuff that y'all got out here for building these little places up? So yeah, I need some flat pavement. And I'm just amazed because my friend had on no shoes and was just walking over the rocks like they didn't even exist. I was like, and here's me about to break my ankle with some flip-flops with a 1-inch sole. So, but I give it to them. With the roads that are paved are beautiful, no potholes. They have like a million speed bumps. You will not just speed through here. Yes, the hills have eyes. Yes, like I see you. You don't see me, but I see you because I got my mossy oak camouflage. Yes. Youth is wasted on the young. I agree. I totally agree. Because you don't know, it should be in reverse. Because when you are young and youthful, I'm old and youthful, getting older, blessed to see 50 something years old and youthful. When you are young and stupid, you don't have a clue. But trial and error, some of our parents were like, you'll figure it out, you'll figure it out or you'll suffer the consequences. And so this is what we do. I have done some crazy stuff. I thank God that when I was doing my crazy stuff, there was no world star, nobody with a recording camera to record my shenanigans. Because I had to show these little children over here. I can put away some liquor. I can put away some beers. Okay. And I'll sit there till the cows come home. And they're like, you haven't got enough to use the bathroom not one time. No, honey, I have a military bladder. Because I didn't want to say, ma'am, the private has an emergency head call. And, I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that private. Where is it? private has an emergency phone call when you tell your drill instructor that you got an emergency, you got to go to the bathroom. It's an emergency. Now you got to act like a siren, act like an emergency vehicle to go to the bathroom. So, uh, yes, we are treated, unfortunately, Silverback, we are treated like foreigners everywhere we go. And that was a thought that I had. Where can we go where we are just treated like human beings? And I'm talking as an African American. We are shunned in some places, we are loved in some places. We're just normal people. Where can we go? And most of them, they pretend that's that fake love. They pretend that they love you because they want your money. Oh, my brother, my sister, let me show you what I got. The little boy, I'm gonna call him a little boy. Where's the camera? So this picture, he comes in, he's like, I have this picture that I drew, painted. Normally I would charge 9,000 shillings, Kenya shillings. But because it's you, I'm only going to charge you 30. And I was like, you're not going to charge me nothing because I don't want to buy it. Oh, well, I'm just going to put it on your wall. And maybe one day when I say it, I don't want to buy it. So I'm suggesting that you take it down off the wall and go sell it to somebody else. Put it on the market, show it off. Oh, well, I'll tell them about it and show them pictures. So you think that because you put that picture on the wall that I'm going to come up with 3,000 Kenya shillings to pay you. That's like about $30, almost $30. I'm not, because I said what I said. That's the thing that pisses me off as well. When I tell you something, take it to face value. I said no, and you stuck it up there anyway, wasting my damn hook. And that's where it's going to be. And you won't see 3,000. Some people think that I'm really mean, but if I told you no, then don't keep asking me, because my mama used to get smacked in the mouth. She said, I said no. My no means no. And if you ask me again, I'm going to knock your teeth out. Oh, okay. And she wouldn't play. She set them diamonds and sapphires on your forehead and put all them empty. She was cruel. Love my mama, because I was always doing something. But, if I told you no, that's what I meant. So I look at that as you trying to force me. It's like someone calling your phone like 10 times back to back and don't want nothing. You're trying to force me to answer the phone. And I'm not going to do it. It's my phone. I answer it if I want to. It's my money. I spend it if I want to. I said no, and that's what I meant. So this is little things that they do. They're like, he put it on the wall anyway. You might as well take it down. When you come back, get your stuff, take it down, because I'm not buying it. I'm not. And, the people in the U.S., when they be begging and they know how to just keep it moving. These people, and I think it's like really, really funny to sit there and try to turn invisible. If you're in a car and the traffic is stopped, they'll come up to the window and hold the stuff up to the window. I like it this way better. And you'll shake your head no. And they'll just stand there. They'll just stand there and like, okay, like it's going to be the battle of I'm looking straight ahead, ignoring you, or you standing here waiting for me to pay you some attention and I already told you no. I'm sorry, that just makes me feel so weird. In the U.S., they move on because they try to get the next vehicle. Not here. They will stand at your window and just stare like, no, thank you. So yes. All right, y'all. So nobody else is participating. For all of you that are here in the vestibule that you didn't know that you were supposed to click on that chat button to get into this live chat, or to click open in browser or the YouTube app and you couldn't find the chat button, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I still have not seen anything in the comment section to tell me why the US is that great. It's not. It's another place just like every place else. And it's all about what you make it. If you go to Haiti, if you go to the Philippines, Guam, Africa, any country in Africa, it's all of what you make it. We are just used to, you're comfortable. It's just like when you was growing up, you was comfortable in your mama's house, and then when you moved out on your own, you found out you had to pay all them utilities on your own, and you wasn't so comfortable. It's the same thing when you leave the U.S. with things that are familiar to you and things that you know where the BP gas station is, you know where the corner liquor store is, you know where the corner market is. You know, we have the same thing over here. Maybe not the corner liquor stores, but we've got the Indian and Arab run markets. We got that. We they got that. It's the same thing. Is everywhere you go, they own all the supermarkets and all the little stores. Like they got a firsthand connection to get supplies to stock a supermarket or a little corner store. I don't get it, but not for me to get. I'm not a business person, so there you have that. Churches, they share churches. Only difference is where we shouting on the corner, Kojic, Baptist, they Lutheran and Catholic. But they still throwing down. They still clap, 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 shout for Jesus or whatever it is they doing. This is still a thing. They still doing it. Probably paying their tithes because one of the biggest mansions I saw in Dar es Salaam was owned by one of those bishops or whatever you call them. What they call them? Archbishop, some kind of bishop. It was humongous. And it was all trimmed out. The gate was bright red and it was all trimmed in gold. And I was like, oh, that's a good look. Yeah. Still pimps in the pulpit wherever you go. I'm just gonna call it. It is what it is. Don't come for me because I'm not your friend. Anyway, is phallic symbol which turn some people on. Yeah, it makes them feel braver. It's a bully. Like they used to say back in the day, throw your hands. Don't go grab no gun. You grabbing a gun because you got your ass kicked. I'm a military person. I know how to hit my target. I don't walk around with a gun. If that's your thing, because I know what I can do with the gun, I know I'm not going to miss. I'm not going to be like, oh, you just pow, 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 pow. Just ain't got no control whatsoever over that gun. I'm going to hit my target. So I leave those things like right where they should be with the next person. If that's your thing, fine, have at it. It's not my thing. So what is that? Is that a giant mosquito? Anyway, yes, I still have not seen not one thing in this comment section that makes me think that the U.S. is so great and the next country is not. Because your cost of living across the board is what, if you go to Alabama, if you are a certified medical assistant, and you up north in Michigan and making $14 an hour. When you come down to Alabama, you're gonna make $7. Okay, when you come down to southern Alabama on that Delta region, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, you're gonna make $7 an hour. It's nothing different here. You have $100 and it won't last you a day, where $100 can last you possibly 2 weeks or a month over here. It's just tomato. So what is it that has people thinking that the U.S. is so great? Is it your government? Because I'm not a fan of the government of nowhere. I'm not a fan because low key they all corrupt. Y'all hate the ones that's telling y'all the truth and speaking their mind, because that's me. I have diarrhea of the mouth. I tend to say things and F your feelings, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and I'm not going to coddle you. I'm going to tell you what it is. Yes, that's not such a good look for you. That don't look so good on you. Maybe you should go change it. Or no, you're this, you're that. I'm this, I'm that. I say I'm fat. People, somebody says, I thought you lost weight. I did. I was humongous. Now I'm just fat. So what's the problem? It's mine. I own it. It's mine. So it is what it is. I don't make jokes about stuff. Like, it is what it is. So I still don't see anything. It's the Matrix. That it is. It is the Matrix. It's that smoke screen. It's that fifth dimensional. It really don't exist. It might exist. I don't know. That has people thinking that they're in such a great state. And so, okay, so I can honestly say this much. I can say I have not seen that one tent city for homeless people. I have not. I don't know where their homeless people are. I'm sure they're somewhere, but they're not under the overpass on the highway like in Houston. They're not in the corridors like in Detroit. They're not out in the parks in a bunch of tents like out in California. I don't know where they are. Maybe it's the people that's sitting under the trees. I don't know. I don't see them. So some people are quick to say, "Oh, it's third world. It's this." And no. The United States is third world. When you have a what they call them shits, brush fires that take out whole communities, and those people all these years later are still sleeping up under the bridge or sleeping in a tent because one, they can't afford to build up what they had. You know, whatever, X, Y, and Z in Houston area after the hurricane, your houses was flooded, and y'all all living, y'all done took over the homeless people, and now it's the working class people are living in tents because for whatever reason you couldn't get your stuff redone. I don't know. Is that the dream? Is that the thing? Don't know. And then why is it that, okay, we got these vaccines and you don't recognize from two powerful countries, you don't recognize their vaccines because their vaccines are traditional? Why? Why? It's in this pandemic, scamdemic, plandemic, whatever you want to call it. Shouldn't you be trying to help the people and not hurt them? I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Oh, they have all sorts of stuff. The one having them rub his private parts or have sex with him and just different stuff. I don't know how true any of that stuff is, but hell, you can get that right there in the United States. I ain't gonna lie. I done seen some things in the United States. You know, if you riding around in a Bentley, you the pastor, you the shepherd of your flock, and you riding around in a Rolls Royce, a Bentley, Mercedes Benz, and you got starving, hungry parishioners in your church, I think your program is screwed up. That's just my personal opinion. And I was raised up in church. My daddy was a Baptist deacon, and his daddy was a Baptist deacon. So don't come for me. I don't do church. I don't do church. And Islam got so many, everything is haram. I ain't doing Islam no more either. Like, I don't want to play their games either because I'm going to the beach and I'm going to do my dang on hip hop aerobics. Music is haram. Dancing is haram. The ocean is haram. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't. I can't do it. Okay. And people will say, you have no discipline. I don't. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm immature and I don't have no discipline. So I like being covered up and all that other stuff, modesty rules, but I need the beach in my life. I didn't move here for nothing. I'm sorry, Rhonda. Hey, my Border City Water Lily. Yes. How are you, my dear? Mm-hmm. Caroline, hello. Yes, Caroline. Do, do, do. There you go. Because I was wondering, like in the US, when they're so quick to point their finger and say, so we have so many homeless people in the US. And a lot of them, not for nothing, they have mental illnesses and they have drug addictions and things like that. But I'm talking about people that have come off of a traumatic thing, like the brush fires and the hurricanes, and these working class people have no place to go. They have no, for whatever reason. Why can't they get an apartment? These are questions that I want to know. And, you know, like I said, I'm counting down. I'm over an hour and I still have not found anything. Is the US really that great? And why? Oh, and so let me tell you, anybody that's still in the United States, y'all can tell me this because I know y'all, we are the kings and queens of credit cards, debit cards, ATM machines. I get over here and they are putting money on their cell phones, calling it a Pesa account. And I can go to the grocery store. Your grocery store has a till number or a goods number. And I punch that number in and I put how much is my receipt and pay for my whatever from my cell phone because I've put my money. I can go to the kiosk or I can transfer it from a bank account and put my money on my cell phone because that is the one thing. I'm not sure about the pepper spray. That is the one thing that everybody has always got in their hand. Now, granted, don't everybody over here don't have a smartphone or whatever, but they have access. You can call on the 800 number or the codes that they have and do whatever, do the same transaction. So it doesn't discriminate if you don't have a smartphone. And that's way advanced. And I thought that was really, really cool. Um, Matter of fact, I am the M-Pesa queen, and I don't have a problem with paying you 50 Kenya shillings with my M-Pesa account. A lot of people in the former country, I'm not even going to call this name, but the former country, they didn't really like to use it because you can also get like little small loans. And so you'll be indebted to that. So all of your money will go to this airtime account. You got your airtime and then you got your main money. And so I'm the queen of M-Pesa, okay? Or Tigo Pesa or whatever. And that way you're not carrying any money around. They also register their SIM cards. So if you think you're coming to these countries and get a cell phone, of course, you need a SIM card for that. You got to do your fingerprints. You got to come with identification and do your fingerprints so that they can track you through your actions. Like, because some things I think like in the other country, lots of Muslims, so things like pornography and things like, so like I told y'all, certain websites were blocked. You can be tracked and you can get in trouble for, things like that. I don't really know how they roll in Kenya. Kenya is pretty cool and modern as well. I don't like to use the term westernized, but I do like to use the term modern. And Uganda was so modernized, I didn't even really see nobody in African print. I love African print, as you can tell. I love Ankara. It's actually come from the Dutch wax print, but the Africans took it as their own, and we look quite beautiful doing so as well. So yeah, so we can pay for stuff. We can just like punch in numbers and pay for our food at the grocery store, at the restaurant. You can pay Caroline. Caroline need 50 T shillings. She can get 50 T shillings. You can send it to her phone. You can send money to the next person's cell phone. You can even buy them airtime. Like if, say, I try to send Rhonda a message and she say, "Oh, sis, I ain't got no data." I can buy data and send it to Rhonda's phone. Okay? Like, get on their level. Get on their level. Yes, mobile money. I love it. And for those of you, you say, "Oh, I can't use PayPal." You can use World Remit. You can use, I don't even know if your Cash App and those things, I don't know, but you can send it. When you see the option that say mobile money, that's being able to send money to somebody's cell phone overseas. I love it. And I think it was invented by an African in Kenya. Kenya is the inventor of the Pesa, the mobile money accounts. And it is awesome. It is really homeless. Yes. So like I said, Rhonda, I'm not really sure about the pepper spray stuff. Like I said, most of the time, at least I know over back there, it was like pretty calm. Like if you do something stupid, like you're walking down the beach at 2:00 in the morning, whether it's 1, 2, 3 of you, be looking for somebody to come out with, because they do carry machetes. Machetes is a thing, like Jamaica. Machetes is a thing. And a group of people may approach you by knife, machete, and rob you. I've seen that happen. Said to some people, they said happened to them, but I'm still trying to figure out at 2:00 in the morning what you doing. What you doing out here? Because I need to. I got to the age where I need to be able to see, and I can't see when there's no lights. So yes. Let's see what else. Chip on your credit card. Just hit the machine. Okay, Apple Pay, chip on your credit card. I think they have that as well, because at the ATM, there's something about cardless withdrawal, and I haven't figured that out yet. Just to have some cash on me. I don't know, but and I look at the fees. Which fee is cheaper? Is it the $5, $5 that I'm paying from the ATM machine, or is it free or 99 cents to transfer it to my M-Pesa and then just pay a small fee to cash out? Who knows? Yes, the Pearl of Africa. Uganda is the Pearl of Africa, and it was amazing. It was really nice. And like I said, the mall and everything was beautiful. It recovered quite nicely from my guy, Edie. I'm just saying. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Nikos, you can ask for Kiko. Hey, SM. Kikoi, Leso, or Kitenge fabric cloths. Oh, okay. Yes, yes, yes. No, I was just saying in Uganda, I didn't see any. I see a lot here. I see a lot over here on this coast of Kenya. So, I'm just saying the thing here, I've not seen anybody tell me, is the US really that great? And what, if so, what makes it so great? Because yes, you have some things that other people don't have, and they have things that you don't have. So why is it so stand out? Why? Because you got rights as a citizen to do whatever the hell you want, and then when you do it too much, you're still gonna go to jail. I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. Why, if you've never been out of the US, I can understand because you don't know. You only go by what you hear. And let me just tell you this. Let me tell you this. Those people that are telling you that, oh, Africans don't like us, Africans this and Africans that, those people are over here living a very, very, very nice life in visiting, vacation, holiday, whatever they want to call it, or just living. At the other end of the street, there's like this villas or whatever. And like I said, the people down there, they so old Europeans. They on walkers. I'm like, oh, they know they can. How can they tolerate this heat? They red. They just. I'm not making fun. I hope to be that old one day. But yeah, they over here burning up on the coast of Kenya. They are here, enjoying. I have never seen such beautiful beaches ever. And I've been to quite a few because that's one of the things that I look for when I travel. Do you have a beach? I need the beach in my life. And it's beautiful here. I have never, ever, ever, and we can already establish that, not the South Florida, not the Keys, not nowhere, do they have water that looks like what's over here. They ain't even got water that looked like it. I used to get mad at people from Jamaica and stuff like that when I lived in Florida, when I lived in Fort Myers, down in South Florida, Southwest Florida, where it's supposed to be really super nice. And they said, oh, this water is disgusting here. I would never get in the water at the beaches here. And I'm like, what? Because, for the most part, might have been brown or whatever, but you can kind of see a little bit, just a little bit. Our water is not clear, it's not transparent. For the most part, it's contaminated with oil spills and oil leaks and all sorts of whatever else going on. So again, I ask you, now it was some clear streams up in Montana, but who in the hell want to live in Montana with 8 feet of snow falling every winter? That's my favorite state, but still, I'm just saying, where, what is making the United States so great? Why do people think that the United States is so great? Why? I think it's time for some of y'all to leave y'all comfort zone and travel to different places and find out just how good or bad you got it in the United States. So, yes, the source of the River Nile, longest river in the world, is in Uganda. King Kong can be found in Uganda. Baby Caroline, honey, it cost $1,000 to go look for King Kong because I wanted to do it. And I was like, how much? I'm running my budget little. I want to see gorillas in the mist, but gosh darn. And then also you have to go to like the foresty area and climb, drive. You can only drive to a certain point, then you got to trek and hike the rest of it. So one day I'm going to go see gorillas in the mist. Yes. And so put this up here. I just came back from Kampala last week. Yes, last week. And so I never saw Black Panther. I don't watch TV. Don't watch that stuff. To rot your brain. So, but yes, Uganda was amazing. And If you mess around with Uganda, you will be in shape, because I have never walked up and down so many hills. I need to live in Uganda so I can climb Kilimanjaro, because that's how I felt. I felt like I was climbing Kilimanjaro, just simply walking to the mall in Uganda. Very hilly, very beautiful. Yes. Where's Ali? She is in TZ, moved to Kenya, and now in Thailand. Okay, she's probably on my path. I did say that if Kenya doesn't work, I will go to Ghana. It's like 54 countries in Africa. I want to see Angola. Some of them we do not need visas for. Um, it just depends. And then, like I said, when I finish here, it's going to be the Asian circuit: Thailand, Malaysia, Guam, Taiwan, Japan. And why I choose Japan? Because I got some of my Chinese students saying they want to go to Japan because Japan is all that. And I was like, for real? The only thing is, I can't do cold weather, y'all. I just can't. I can't do cold weather. So it's safe to say, um, let's see. Inflation in America is shooting up. Fuel is also rising. Joblessness on rise. Dollar is weakening. Biden is taking America to war with Russia. Biden don't want that smoke, girl. Don't believe that hype. There's fools and then there's fools, and he ain't no fool. He ain't stupid. I don't care what nobody say. I'm prior military. They don't want that smoke. I'm just saying, and I can't even say what I really want to say, but kudos. Like, anyway, it's a military thing. Maybe that's a different discussion for a different day. But yeah, all Biden is worried about is the gay agenda. If you offended, be offended. I don't care. That seems to be the important thing with him. That's why I try not to, like, I am literally over here having peace of mind. And I literally have friends that just send me negative stuff all the time. They just send negative. I don't even watch that stuff anymore. Like, half of it is not real. They send all the negativity that's going on in the United States. And I'm like, boy, it sucks to be y'all. It's unfortunate that that's where your mindset is, that that's all you're posting. And you're sitting on a computer screen, posting all of this negative energy, putting this mess into existence, because half of it is fake anyway, about the pandemic, about the inflation, about your corrupt government, about jobs and white people care, what they call her, Kathy, Carol, Karen, whatever her name is, Becky. We gonna stick to the basics. What y'all talking about? What they doing? Calling the police still shooting people down. It's to the point that if you even notice, they ain't even posting it no more. Police still killing people. It's just they're doing what they plan to do. They had you posting on social media until you get desensitized to these things. So I don't read, I don't listen to the rhetoric that people send to me about the negativity that's going on in the United States. Because if I had to be based on all of that, I would just answer you flat out right now. No, the United States is not great. It is a crap hole. Is that the word I'm supposed to use? Yes, it is a first-class crap hole. If I was to be based on the things that is posted on social media, the stuff that people send to me, when I tell them that I don't really care what's going on over there. I have zero intentions of ever returning to the United States. There's hundreds of other countries that I can go to. If they don't want me here in Africa, I can go to Asia. I can go to South America. I can go wherever. It doesn't necessarily, I just like my people. I love my people. I don't care I love my people. And so when I go someplace, it's like when I was I don't think there's anybody else in here. When I was at Camp Lejeune, and I didn't know at the time, I just thought in my mind, like, my gosh, there's a lot of Black people at Camp Lejeune. The group Sergeant Major was Black. The G3 was Black. Most of the battalion Sergeant Majors were Black. My first sergeant was Black. Everybody was Black. Everybody was blackity black, black, black. And I couldn't understand. Well, come to find out, like back in the days of racism, that was the only Camp Geiger, which is now Camp Johnson, was the only base that Blacks were allowed to go to. That's where they put them. So that's like, it's low key still a trend that all the Black people, all the down Black people was at Camp Lejeune. And I was like, boy, oh boy, we had a good time. We had a freaking good time. But I'm like, okay, I'm noticing that. Why is this? because it's still racism. And then they'll be the first person to tell you there's no black and white in my Marine Corps. You either dark green or light green. But why we got to be dark or light? Why we just can't be green? You know, don't play with me. I'm smarter than a fifth grader. So, you know, these are things that you deal with, even fighting for your country. Yes. So, the dollar is losing its strength. Other than the dollar, there is nothing great about America. Say it again for the people in the back. And there will be some people that will want to fight you and whatever. And it's just not. It's not. It's they it's not they excuse me, they can't talk about anything else because they don't know anything else to talk about. Most of these people that are posting these, it's two people that just post this stuff, this rhetoric continuously all the time. And that's the overly educated with a million degrees and the undereducated that barely made it out of high school. The people in the middle, we don't care. We're like, okay, somebody needs a little more training. You know, they believe anything that's posted on the internet. And it's like, that's not fact. That's not fact. You know, you can even go in and change Wikipedia. You can add your 2 cents to Wikipedia. It's no guarantee. You know the facts. Okay. Caroline, I'm assuming you from Uganda. Yes. Okay, so yes, it is very hilly in this area. So I think I do want to play with Mount Kenya, since I didn't get to do and here's the thing, like certain things like that, climbing Mount Kenya versus Kilimanjaro, you know, $300 versus $3,000. Going to Nairobi National Park versus the Serengeti, $43, or might as well say plus the vehicle, less than $200 versus $3,000. You know, these are things that you can go to. I don't know how much Masai Mara costs, but I'm sure it's way cheaper than $3,000. So, you know, just certain things. I'm for budget, and I'm for beauty. You know, if I can see some beauty for free, that's even really free is my language. $3.50 is my favorite. So yes, yes. Yes, improve yourself and build mindset, get established. And this is the thing, like you will be blocked on every angle and still you won't have any respect, but do it just because you want to do it. What makes you feel good? Do what makes you feel good, because I'm still looking at things of police stopping and questioning a black man as to why he's in a certain neighborhood. That's your first mistake. You get 2 nickels and then you want to move out to the burbs with the white people instead of building up your own communities. You know, my neighborhood was very decent. It was very, very decent. And that's why they wanted it back. Like, you don't get that good land. You don't get that good prime riverfront property. You know, you're not going to stay there and we want it back. So you want to go run out. So this is how they did Detroit. Probably how they did every other place too. They left Detroit. They went to the first set of suburbs, and then black people followed them. And they're like, ooh, we can't live with y'all. And then go to the next set of suburbs. Black people follow. Then they go to the next set of suburbs. Black people follow. Guess what? Y'all left y'all stuff inner city. Y'all abandoned, walked away from these big ass Boston Edison homes. Those are my favorite. I love these houses. They are humongous. Where Aretha Franklin, she was raised up. These people, these beautiful, big historic houses, most of them with servant quarters. Okay. And so y'all walked away. Now these, which should be $500,000 million houses, is selling for like 20,000 because y'all just walked away from them. And you got all the way out to them third suburbs, and you got so laden with debt that you couldn't come back to the city if you wanted to. You know, you fell for the okie doke. Y'all followed them into the trap, and now they say, okay, we got them way out here now. Now we finna go back inner city, and they're taking over. And in the words of Louis Farrakhan, there's no reason why your city that's 75 to 95% black should be run by anybody other than a black person. I'm just saying that's what he said. But knew he was talking about Detroit and New Orleans and whoever else. And why is that? So even if we build our wealth, we still want to gain that wealth and then give it all back to the people. We don't want to gain that wealth and keep it in our own communities. I'm a worker, be a supporter. So if you start a business, all I can do is support your business, maybe buy something or, do whatever, because that's your thing. But if I see like, okay, you think it's a come up to move to where people don't like you. I don't think that's a come up. I don't think that's just my personal opinion. I do personally just don't think that's a come up. Deshaun, daddy's girl. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna post this one up here because I'm feeling myself. Actually, I feel terrible. Y'all got the worst stomach ache ever, but that's okay because I like to talk. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, the Army, Navy, and the Marines has never treated people right. You are absolutely right because I am one who I do my DNA and I did my family tree and all those family members that was in the military, even the ones Civil War and all that stuff, and they have these little tags that say they were in this muster and that muster and all this stuff. And then you read books, pick up a book and read it. You'd be surprised at some of the stuff that you learn, that even though we served in these civil wars and all this Revolutionary War as well, because I was trying to think of that the other day when I was telling somebody about this book that I was reading. We fought these wars and we still were considered second-class citizens. And so I'm perfect. I'm a war vet. So please, when you come for me, come correct because I'm crazy. I'm probably PTSD, no medication, no check. And so I have the right to my opinion. Don't fight these people war. Let them fight their own war. I'm just saying, because I cried like a baby. You want me to get on what and go where? You want me to do what? Yeah, I didn't sign up for all that. I signed up because your uniforms was cute. My mama told me not to. I should have listened to my mama. Should have took my butt to school, but it doesn't matter. I'm where I am in life. It was something that I had to go through in life. So here I am. Join your own military. Quit being scared, because when they said the revolution will not be televised. The first thing to go is going to be some of our turncoat house N words. You know what I mean? Some of them going to have to go. That should be your first target when the revolution pop off. But I'm just saying, I'll be up here watching, listening on, what is it called? 2-band radio? I don't know, 12-band. I don't know what it's called. Old school. Anybody know about them old school radios? Anyway, all right, let's see. Do. Yes, in 2022, 2021, 2020, why are we still having the first Black anything? Then we done everything. Can y'all give us our credit so we in the new millennium we can stop having the first Black, I think it was the first Black general in the Marine Corps, female. First Black this, first Black that. What, that's crazy. Let's live on the beach. Okay, Rhonda, come see me. I'm on the beach, girl. As you can see, woo! Come get this beach, clear water. Why saying beach life? Oh my gosh! And just for the record, I did downsize. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. I cut my little rent money in half, y'all. Can you believe what y'all already thought was dirt cheap? I cut it in half, and could have probably got it cheaper than what I am. So I paid about $61 a month. Remember the time. I'm just saying, don't nobody like what I say. I don't care. They say you shouldn't. I'm telling you, you would want me to tell a lie? Would you rather I lie to you? Let me know. Yes. Walk to store for my coffee and biscuit. I'm coming, getting it together. Yes, come on. Just get that ticket and the rest will fall into place. I'm that kind of risk taker. I don't have to have nothing in place. I will make a move with one paycheck in my pocket and another one in the hole. I came here with what I thought was going to be enough to last for a year, last me a few months, and I still ain't mad that I came here. To me, even after what I just went through last week, I feel like this is the best decision I've ever made in my life. Because I'm surprised I don't have a face full of wrinkles from mean mugging in the United States. I was always having to give the evil eye to somebody, you know, try white Jesus, don't try me. I'm just saying the things that I had to put up with. And like I said, I was a little bit out there more than the normal person being a truck driver. There were certain things, like I sat there and literally watched in New Mexico. Yeah, I can't think of the town. New Mexico. Or was that Texas? Either way, it was a pilot truck stop. And this was at, Essential. I never stopped working. I've never been on lockdown. Alhamdulillah, I've never been on lockdown. So as an essential worker, the young lady told this guy he cannot come into the truck stop without a mask on. Now, he wasn't on the trucker side. He was on the car gasoline side. And he's trying to come through the door. And they said, sir, you can't come in here without a mask. And you know who the sir was. He got mad and he punched the glass and broke the glass. And I was like, oh, it's time for me to go. They are losing their minds. Because she told you to put on a mask, you're going to break the people's pitch. What do you call it? Big old plate window. He broke it. They had to put a board over it. I'm like, wow, just because she wanted you to put on a mask. I'm getting used to it. We didn't wear a mask in Tanzania, but here in Kenya, they wear masks. And yes, every time I go to the store 3 times a week, 3 times I forget to take my mask with me because I'm just not used to wearing them. So I got like 3 of them in my purse now, just at the bottom, so that I can have a mask to put on when I go to the store. But am I mad about it? No. Like, why would I be mad? That's so stupid. G. Scott, how are you, my guy? Good to see you. Y'all, I'm gonna have to edit this a lot because I'm just babbling on now because I see that I'm not gonna get an answer to my question, and because that doesn't exist. So I said that to say, broaden your horizons, get outside your comfort zone. There's a lot of people migrating to Mexico. There's a lot of people going to Panama, Belize, wherever you choose to go in this world. There are other options out there. There are other places. There's other things to do. Maybe you can go and start a trucking business or whatever. If that's your thing, if you want to start a business, you probably can go to another. It's like the United States. We complain about foreigners come in and can start these businesses, and we can't. Well, it's not that we can't. We have a hard way to go when we try to start these business. Well, guess what? It's the same thing. You come to this country and start a business, and it's probably why the people there just kind of have a little animosity built up against you because they say, oh, you come and you actually have the $500 to start a little small business, or which can turn into a conglomerate or whatever. It's a two-way street. People come into the United States from foreign countries, get tax exemptions, get this and that, start a business. You can go to a foreign country and do the same thing. I'm just saying. Yes, I watch Adventure Sing. He is the one that had me over here in Mombasa in the first place. He is the one that, it was a couple of people that got on that train. But yes, he is the reason why. He said he did from Nairobi to Mombasa, I forgot for how many days, with 10,000 Kenya shillings, which is less than $100. And he was eating street food. And now the place that when I looked up the place that he stayed, it was a little pricey. So that's why I was in the hostel for cheap. Yes. He does budget travel everywhere. And he did a collaboration with Nabs, somebody in Uganda. I told him I was behind him. I was right on his trail. He left Mombasa, then he went to Uganda. And then I went to Mombasa, and I went to Kisumu. Then I went to Uganda. Yes. So I think he does some really interesting things. Yes, all these firsts. In 2021, 2022, we got all these firsts. Oh, that vice president issue. And he better be careful because the female vice president here became the president. I'm not saying, not in Kenya, but in the other one. I'm not saying that she was corrupt and did something she shouldn't have, but I'm just saying. Anyway, yes, yes, yes. Hmm. You think so, SM? Because I looked at a couple now. There was a two-bedroom for like 150, and because I live on the across the street, like the street that runs down the beach road. On the left side is the beach side. On the right side is the local neighborhoods, and I live in the local neighborhood. And this is like maybe 15-minute walk to the beach if you walk real fast. For me, maybe 20 minutes because I just be looking, trying to catch the monkeys, like try to see the monkeys. But yes, because the ones that they showed me, because I made a mistake and I said my budget was 100, and they thought I meant 100,000 Kenya shillings, which is like $1,000. And I was like, I don't pay that in the US. No, thank you. I made a mistake. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm at 100 US dollars. I'm broke. I'm cheapo depot. Mm, let's see. Yes, they're rebuilding up everything. They're telling them, they're taking back what Coleman Young told them to hit the bricks and get lost. Spaces between has been removed in Kenya since yesterday. Okay, thank goodness. But I'm still gonna keep mine. Yesterday, yeah. Okay, so that's what the guy told me. I went to the market yesterday. I think, yeah, it was yesterday. And everybody had their mask on, and he said, "Oh, the mandate has been lifted." And I said, "Well, why do you still have the mask on?" And he was like, "For my safety." And I was like, "Oh, okay, me too. Me too. Whatever." So yes, so they still, so maybe because this time I actually had a mask is why the guards didn't stop me and tell me to put a mask on. And I just do it simply because it's just a lot of uh, it's a lot of Europeans here. Lots. I'm sorry. I'm an open book. I just don't really feel comfortable around y'all like that. So I need that mask. I'm just saying, I know my people got some cooties too, but I don't want them kind of cooties. Anyway, let's see. Just how you just gave the answer. People fear changing, and that's what they're used to. Absolutely. That is true. That is very true. And on that note, to please add, you will survive in Africa. There is free food, water, and shelter, even during war. It's the best place to find refuge. You know what, Caroline? That's what I'm thinking. That I'm gonna watch the fire. I'm treating this like fireworks. I'm gonna sit over here, kick my feet up, and watch it. Can y'all keep y'all shenanigans in the U.S. and Europe, and not bring that mess over here? Even though there are about 5 countries right now that's got some civil unrest, and I can't even call it. Yeah, can you call it civil unrest? They kicking the French out. Y'all got to go, and we're doing it by any means necessary. So that's Central Africa Republic, Mali, Burkina Faso. I think it's Burkina Faso. Yeah. And I don't know if they've cleared up their little situation down in Mozambique yet or not, because they was kind of getting a little restless down there. Ethiopia, and while y'all focusing on Ukraine, the U.S. was bombing Somalia and talking about they were targeting an extremist group or whatever. But know your war tactics. If you ain't got nothing else better to do, go read The Art of War. So if you're going after these little cells, but you bombing civilians, and see what they got y'all thinking about this other situation is that Russia just going in there acting a fool. Russia is strategically placing their things. Your air, they disabling you. So they go your airstrips, and there go your little government facilities. They're just not going in bombing apartment buildings because they say, "Oh, it's some extremists over there." Know your position. Play some chess. Read a book. Read The Art of War, and then come back and have a conversation with me. I'm just saying. No vaccine. Rhonda, I actually took the Chinese vaccination. I ain't above it. I was not taking anything from the US or the UK. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, and I really, 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 while y'all playing around, I really wanted the Sputnik 5, which is the Russian vaccination, but I would have had to go to Zanzibar to get it. And it just wasn't worth it. All right, let's see. You have to find another place. What kind? A place for what, Rhonda? SM, are you here in Kenya? And I'm a former healthcare professional, and as my mother used to tell me that she don't know how I can cook a meal because I hate stuff touching my hands. And I've always had, like, for the most part, long fingernails. So, you might flour up some chicken or whatever, and then I got to stop and wash my hands and get the flour out from under my fingernails because that's just like really nasty to me. And so I'm not above washing my hands. I don't get that people can go as a female, that you can go in the bathroom if you wiped. Maybe you didn't wipe, but if you wiped your crotch and then you walk past 6 banks of soap and water sinks, how does that work? Like, what you gonna go next? Go pick your teeth after you just wiped? I mean, freak, what are you doing? It is time. Oh my gosh. Okay, yes, I got to wind this down because work starts in 30 minutes. So I'm sitting here and got beside myself, and I forgot that I got work tonight. I usually don't work at night, but it's going down tonight because I'm on a mission. You understand? I work when I want to work. I'm like my people over here. When I know I need something, then I get to work. So I'm putting in an extra shift tonight. All right. So if nothing else, it's been a pleasure. Over 2 hours, too long. Yes, it was only supposed to be for 1 hour. And so love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming and joining and giving your feedback. And so here we have it. It is what it is. Is the Gambia on my bucket list? Absolutely not. Now, I have a friend in Ghana that he wants to go to law school in the Gambia, and I told him he was on his own. They have some issues. They got some real serious issues over there. So no, the Gambia is not on my list. I don't care how pretty their beach is. It is not right now. Maybe for a 12 hours, not even overnight. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But yes. Virtual hug. Thank you, Virginie. Thank you. And yes, so I'm making my way across, but I don't know how long it will be for those next set of 3. My next set of 3, inshallah, will be Namibia, Botswana, and Angola. Inshallah. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, gotta go. Broaden your horizons, open your mind, and just see what you can find. You may become an overnight success, a trillion billionaire in another country. You never know. All right, y'all. It's been real. Yes, Angola will be interesting because I don't hear too many people talking about it, but they on the coast, and I would not. One of the reasons why I wouldn't live in Namibia is because they can't get in the water on their coast. So I'm like, they can, but they don't recommend it. It's like ice cold. So I'm good. I need a beach in my life. But yes, so y'all, good night. And it's been a pleasure. It's been a great pleasure. And we'll see y'all again. Maybe let me know if this is a good time. Sunday evening is a good time for me. I normally do not work on Sunday nights, but I am tonight. So, I got to shut it down. So you can let me know if it needs to be an hour later or an hour earlier or whatever, however you do it. Angola, is that the one in Louisiana? I think that's the one in Louisiana. Not really sure. Yeah, not a part of the system. Anyway, all right, y'all. It's been a pleasure. Hit that subscribe button, like, and all that other good stuff. Thank you for coming. And so your support, I truly appreciate it. And I will be posting on the community tab. I will be making a post to maybe some other things that we can roundtable about and discuss as to what's keeping y'all staying in the United States or wherever you are and not moving around and checking out other things. Get out of your comfort zone and go check out some stuff. Yeah. All righty. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I need to go take a cold shower real quick. All right. Good night.